Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Crayon Lane Teach, and today we're going to be talking about the things that you need to do to every single one of your Teachers Pay Teachers products that you create. If you like this video, make sure that you like, subscribe and share so you don't miss any of my future videos. Let's get to it. So the first thing you need to include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product is a front cover. So you'll probably notice yourself that when you're downloading things from Teachers Pay Teachers, the first page that comes up on the PDF is the front cover. So the types of things that I would include in the front cover would be the name of the product. I would also include what the product was all about, so explaining what the learning would be the children would be getting from the product or the learning objective. And I would also include the age range that the product is aimed at as well. I usually also add in some nice looking clip art and borders and backgrounds just to make it look a bit more eye-catching as well. So the next thing you need to include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product that you create is a terms of use page. So your terms of use page explains to the person who's bought your product what's okay to do with your product and what's not okay to do with your product. So you might want to include in your terms of use page that you maybe just want your product to be only used by that one teacher who's purchased it. You might also want to put in there that you don't want it being photocopied by the full school and things like that. So on the other hand, you might be okay with them distributing it between all the teachers in their school. It's totally up to you. To get an idea of what a terms of use page might look like, it might be quite a good idea to look at other Teachers Pay Teachers sellers and have a look at what types of things that they've included in their terms of use page, and then you can kind of gauge it from there. But it is totally up to you what you think is okay to do with your product and what is not okay to do with your product. So the next thing you need to include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product, and this thing is something that you have to include in every single product that you create, is a credits page. So a credits page is where you give credit to all of the clip artists, the people that have created the backgrounds, the borders, the fonts, all those things that you've included in your resource when you've been creating your resources. This is where you give credit to them. So what you need to do is check their terms of use page and see if they'd like you to add a logo to give credit to them. They might want you to include their Teachers Pay Teachers website address. So you need to be checking their terms of use and then see what it is they're asking you to do, and then include that on your credits page. Now it's up to you if you want to include this at the beginning of your product or at the end of the product. I usually put it at the beginning of the product just to make sure that I'm keeping myself right when I'm creating things. The next thing that you can include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product is a follow page. And this is an optional thing that you can include, but if you have an Instagram, a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, a Pinterest account, and if you want people to have a look at your other social media accounts and things, this is where you would put that in. So personally, I've got obviously my Instagram, which is Crayon Lane Teach, if you want to follow me, and I've also going to be adding on my YouTube channel as well. So this is another thing that you can include in every single product. Again, it's optional though, but it is a good idea for promoting your product. So the next thing that you might need to think about including in your Teachers Pay Teachers product is a directions page. So if your product is quite a straightforward thing, like just a set of worksheets or something like that, you probably won't need to include directions in your product. However, if your product is a game or something a little bit more complicated, it's quite a good idea to explain to the person who's bought it how they go about using it and all the things that are included, and maybe a few ideas on how they could use it in their classroom. Next thing that you could think about including in your Teachers Pay Teachers product is a contents page. Now again, this is an optional thing because your product might be quite straightforward. It might just be one type of worksheet or similar types of worksheets that don't need explaining. However, if your resource has got a lot of different types of worksheets that are maybe covering different levels and things, a contents page would be really helpful for the person who's bought it so that they can easily flick through all the pages and find what they're looking for. Especially as well if you're including different types of activities as well. So maybe your first few pages are worksheets and then later on in your resource you might have a matching game. It'd be really helpful for them to know exactly what page that the product changes. So the next thing that you want to include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product that you create is your name. So this might seem like quite an obvious thing, but this is actually something that I nearly forgot to do when I created my first product. And so what I do is I actually add my name, just Crayon Lane Teach, the name of my store, and you can add the date as well at the bottom of every single page of all my products. So it's quite easy to do because I just copy it onto every single page on my PowerPoint when I'm creating my products, and it just means then that my name is on everything that I've created. So yeah, that's something that you definitely need to remember and do when you're creating your products, and you need to make sure and do it on every single one of your products that you create. So the next thing that we're going to talk about that you have to do to every single one of your products, and this tip is something that you have to do to every single one of your products, it's not optional, is locking or flattening them. So this is so that other people who purchase your products can't then go and lift or copy any of the clip art, the fonts or the backgrounds or anything that you've used in your product. So this is to make sure that everything that you've used is kept secure. So you'll probably find that when you look at the terms of use of any clip art or backgrounds or things that you've used when you're creating your products, is they say in it that they want you to make sure that you flatten everything to keep everything secure. So flattening and securing your products is definitely something that you have to do to every single one of your products. I actually talk about this in one of my other videos, Teachers Pay Teachers, mistakes that you want to avoid, and I talk a little bit about how you can do this in a way that you can use Adobe, which you might have to pay for, and I kind of mention how you can do this for free as well. If you'd like a little bit more information on how you could flatten your products for free, then comment below and I can make a little video about that too. So the next thing you need to make for every single Teachers Pay Teachers product is your thumbnail. So your thumbnail is what comes up when people search for things on the Teachers Pay Teachers website. The list of products that come up with the image, that little image is your thumbnail. So your thumbnail needs to be square shaped. I use a website called canva.com to make thumbnails. On that website you can make lots of things. You can make Instagram posts, Instagram stories, pins for Pinterest, all different things, and all different things that are all different sizes. I use the Instagram post because that's the right kind of size and it's the right square shape as well. And basically I just put on it the name of my product, who the product is possibly aimed at, some images of the product as well, so that when people are searching, that's what comes up. So that's the next thing that you need to include for every single product you make, is a thumbnail. So the next thing that I create for every single one of my Teachers Pay Teachers products is a pin for Pinterest. So like me, you might be using Pinterest to market your Teachers Pay Teachers products. So this is something else that I use canva.com to create. So again, I just go into Canva, I make sure that I pick out one of the pin templates, and then I just make a longer version basically of the thumbnail that I've already made for my Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I make that into a pin. And again, I just include things like the name of the product, some images of the product, some nice eye-catching clip art, maybe who the product is aimed at, the age range that it's aimed at, and then I use that to market it on Pinterest. So the next thing that I include in every single one of my Teachers Pay Teachers product is previews. So this is something again that I nearly missed out when I was starting to create my Teachers Pay Teachers products. So previews is basically just a little preview, obviously, of what your product looks like, of what your customer can expect to see when they buy it. So previews, you have to be quite careful. You don't want to basically just post as part of your product listing some perfect images of your product, because again, people can easily copy that. So what I do is I just take some images of my product and then I put a watermark saying the word preview across the middle of it in faint writing, so that people can still see the preview but then they're not able to copy it easily. So that's the next thing that you want to include in every single one of your products, is a preview of your product so that people can see before they buy it. So that covers all the things you need to include in every single Teachers Pay Teachers product that you create. If you're interested in more teacher related content, make sure and follow me on my Instagram at Crayon Teach. And if you'd be interested in seeing any more future videos all about teacher tips, teacher hacks, Teachers Pay Teachers, or anything else teacher related, then make sure and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks for watching.